Hi, everyone. Okay. So the theme has been groups of people or a couple of people meeting, two people meeting, three people meeting, and then they collaborate and do something, whether they start a business, whether they start a band. So I've posted a few Aussie bands. I've posted Deb and Amber Heard. And I've posted a lot on the political side of it, which I'm done with. But throughout the years, when girls bring something to class, we kind of do it. So in 2015, a couple of the girls bought a band, and it wasn't for themselves, it was for their children. Later on in the years, we did the band. The band has a great astrology, throughout. Whether I do each of them alone, I don't know yet. But I've got, as we're in that theme of gathering, togetherness, all of that, and why do some people, when they come together, work and others don't? The thing with this is, firstly, understand that in this is BTS, is who I am doing. So then in 2017, we redid them in class. The 7 boys, 7 chakras. That's what your body has. 7 chakras make one family. Yeah. So I don't know if the person that began this, that built BTS, which I will do each of them as well, the 3 people that kind of got it together, and ARMY. So all of that together made this amazing, built this amazing, thing, and this thing prospered. So is it still going to prosper? So how do I know so much about these boys? Is because my students who have children who are huge K-pop fans, and when we lived in Thailand, my children also had many Korean friends as well as Thai friends. And so I kind of understand the whole K-pop thing. Now, with these boys, they didn't just come in, audition, and this was it. It took years for them to actually become who they actually are. So BTS in Korean means Bangtan, and Bangtan means they are resistant, They're resistant as into bullets, blocking stereotypes, criticism, expectations. They're resistant to all of that. And they call themselves Bulletproof Boy Scouts, all right? I call them boys that slay. Somebody actually mentioned that once, and it's perfect, all right? Their motto is to love yourself. So I've been hounding that into you guys for years. But anyway, 3 rappers, 3 of the rappers, 1 is a street dancer, 4 vocalists, 1 is a professional dancer, and gave that up as a champ in that sort of field to join BTS. Now, they can all dance, they can all sing, and they can rap in that way too. If in Korea, and a lot of people say these boys are controlled, all of that. Not really. The thing with the company that has these boys, they're not part of the 3 that totally control and win everything. So they're outsiders. He started this, Bang started this, and so he's now winning everything. And the language barrier is non-existent, So when we are looking at this, one person thought of a vision, and he is someone that visualizes. You'll see in a minute. And it's called music, artist music and music for healing, I think it's called. So under one person's guidance, he made sure that they actually talk, sing, etc., walk the walk, talk the talk about, they had to tell stories that people wanted to hear. All right. I don't want to go harp on too much about it in that sense, but Big Hit is the company that owns them in that way, if you want to talk about it that way. And what ended up happening here is they debuted. So I've been told that a debut means, when you come back and have another album, that's called a debut. So every time you come back, it's called a debut. I know, it's very different to how we are. But if one person here has a flaw, the others make up for it and counteract it. So that is the beauty of this. So when they first started, they used to do their own makeup. I might post something with that on where they used to have the black eyeliner and that. Now they have people around them doing the makeup for them. They did cop a lot of flack, these 7, that they wear makeup and they're girls, and even the rappers were told they weren't rappers anymore, etc. But they wrote about all of that, how they felt, all of those sorts of things. And what you've got to understand is they write and sing music. Other people give them songs, etc. They've got, I think, a couple of Ed Sheeran songs, and they're pretty good number ones there. So they touch on all sorts of topics. Self-love is the best one. Emotions of youth, school-age stuff, trouble of school-age kids, anxiety, depression, fear, social issues, empowerment. They talk about anything that's worthwhile talking about, right? And that is not really addressed in Korea. What you've got to understand is these boys communicate on a deep level, and they believe in themselves, and they don't hide anything. They show, isn't there's a TikTok thing that's now going viral. You show people how you eat. Well, Jin, where is it? Jin already used to do that. He used to have Eat Jin show or something like that. Anyway, so in Korea, there's a college test exam, which a student actually studies for all their school age years, and it decides their future. Can you imagine that? Decides what university you go to, all of that. So these boys have done their things, done their exams, set their years, etc. And in South Korea is the 4th highest suicide this is what really is sad, it's between 10 to 19 years. But these boys, if you watch some of their things, the best things to watch is the chapters. Somebody put together chapters. And when you watch them, you can see how 70 million people around the world are their fans. They're called ARMY. I'll talk about them in another post. And these people their lives have changed from these boys. All right. It's kind of against all the odds, that sort of thing. All right. So these boys, if you look at them, elementally, I'll go from the top because this is JK, Jungkook, and Jimin. This is fire on fire, and this is fire on earth. So fire on fire, this is solar, remember. They took their first breath. This is them. This is the day they are born, not the month, not the year, not the hour. The day you are born is your energy. It is your constitution. It is what is going to affect you, and what every year brings in will affect you. So with JK, he's fire on fire. This boy is about himself. Okay. So these two must be on a stage. They have to be on a stage. Their life is on a stage. So whether they joined these 7 or not, they would have been on a stage. The thing here, these two, is they need discipline. This one does not have discipline. This one disciplined himself because this one's fire on fire. It's about himself. So this one disciplined himself. He did Taekwondo. He did, all of those martial arts. And that is when I'm teaching about each of the elements, martial arts is the discipline for fire, because fire is like going like this, and so it has to discipline itself, and bring it all in, chi ball, that kind of thing, all that chi. Anyway, so he's about himself, but this boy has spirit, and this fire, if somebody is complimented, or someone compliments him, no big deal. He compliments himself because it's about him. But there's a lot of spirit here. Okay. With this one, here's that candle, like the wick on the candle. So he shows people the way. He's a little bit more calmer, but do not get fooled because this wick, not just a candle, it's also a time bomb. He can go off when he goes off, get out of the way. Very explosive. Okay, so I started with these two because they're meant to be on stage. Okay, and he sits on an ox. The ox is hard work. He works very hard at whatever he does. And there's actually two of them that work that hard. And I'll get to the next one, who's an earth element. So these two, give them a stage and they will show you what they can do. With this one, if someone is doing something, whatever it is, he will keep going till he can do it. Okay, copycat. Yeah, that sort of thing. And both of these boys, everything is here. Everything is here. You know, if you had said to either of these boys they were silly or whatever once upon a time, they do not forget that. Okay, so you can't talk to fire that way. Just got to tell them how great they are. All right, Earth. This is Sugar. So Sugar, you will see a lot of this guy because he just did a song with Psy, Gangnam Style. Yeah. So we're all going to be dancing to that song for another couple of years. Yes, we love it. We do. All right. So he is Earth on Earth. He is another ox. This ox again works so hard. This is Earth on Earth. And Sugar is like fertile, so fertile, fertile as in he writes a line and something can happen with it. He makes some music, something can happen with it. This is how fertile he is. This is throughout his whole life. He's fertile. The thing is, he can have 10 things going on at once, and this is why then for others, it's too much. For him, it is how he works. So he's sitting on an ox. I'll explain later why he in particular is going through the roof and somebody else is too. RM. RM is metal on an ox. Again, ox works from sunup to sundown and more. But this metal, elementally, this metal is the judge and the jury. You're doing something wrong, you're going to be punished for it. Okay. Very moralistic at the same time. The last person to do something wrong, okay? When I talk about metal, it's like, this is how I describe it, so you take it how you want to take it. They'll suck face but not go all the way. That's the moral side of it, okay? Again, an ox. Now, these two are rappers, and when you look at this guy, he just looks like doesn't give a hoot. But this is Earth. This Earth is the carer, the nurse, the doctor, the social worker, the BFF, that sort of thing. That's him. He steps up. This guy, he steps up. These two, more here. It's emotion. All right. Which then brings us to wood. I'm not going to go this one yet. There are 3 wood here. One's a rapper and dancer, and these two are vocalists and dancers. So there's J-Ho and V. They are both yin wood. This wood sits on the pig. The pig is very, very humble and very resourceful. So this water nourishes the wood, and this metal here sits on the earth. RM also, I forgot to say, his ideas, all of that doesn't stop. So you've got 2 people whose ideas do not stop. Full on, full on. Like, I don't even know if they get any sleep because there's no off button, like me. All right. Then we've got, so he's a dancer, etc. J-Ho is very gentle, a gentle quality about him. Same with V. V, though, he doesn't sit on it, he sits on a goat. So remember what a goat does. They climb a damn wall to see what's on the other side. So this gorgeous boy as well, he will go to the other side because he needs to see what else is good, and he always has to look good. So these two will not leave the house until they've looked in the mirror a few times. It is what it is. And wood is very creative. I have a wood child like this, and I have a wood child like this. So really it's about, if you are thinking with your children, you're walking out. My Yinwood is like, you're not going out like that, are you? Leave me alone. Love them. Anyway, then there's Jin. So Jin is wood on wood. This is solid. This is the oak tree. This is the oak tree that grows a branch for a bird and a branch for a possum and a branch for another bird and a branch for this. So it's that oak tree, and we all sit under this oak tree in the shade, okay? And he sits on a tiger. So he is fierce. These three only work well if they're under pressure. Otherwise, they just take their time. So pressure on them is the ultimate. It makes them fruit and flower. When you cut a tree down, when you cut wood down, it fruits and flowers better. So you've got it. That's these three. Now, we've got all these elements, but there's no water. So water is wisdom, it's fear or courage, it also communicates, it also finds a way. By hook or by crook, they find a way. So who put all these guys together, or who started this? His name is Bang. Okay, he's called Hitman Bang because I'll talk about him in another post, because he's got a great adventurous past. So he is yang water on water. So this is tsunami on tsunami. When tsunami comes in, it cleans the slate and starts all over, rebuilds. He was part of another company with somebody else, and they made the bands that were pretty, or got somewhere, prospered. So that's why he's called Hitman Bang. Anyway, water on water. Do you see how this one person completes? I sound like Tom Cruise. You complete me. So this is it. This is what Tom Cruise meant. So water nourishes the wood feeds the fire burns and makes earth, and from the earth we find the metals, okay, and then that metal nourishes the water, which is really funny because he was the first one to be chosen to start this 7 boys, 7 chakras. Okay. Now, these boys, a lot of people have said that once a band starts doing solos, they dissipate. Well, these don't. These boys don't. They have their lyrics are so relatable and deep, and paired with the beautiful vocals, music. Yeah, success, success, success. So this year, why are we seeing more of one person than the others? Is because this year is the tiger. So the tiger with the horse is a soulmate, and they make more fire. So he's more in our face. That's what that would mean. For Jimin, the tiger this year with the ox is also a soulmate, and that makes more of an element, and then we see him shine more. It's because he sits on his expression. That's his talent and skill, is his expression and what he does dancing. So he only has to open his mouth. He can sell ice to the Eskimos, this guy. Yeah, which is pretty cool, because he only has to wear something and then sold out. And I forgot who it is. Louis Vuitton, Versace, he just wears a top and it'll sell out within seconds, that sort of thing. So sell ice to the Eskimos he can. For Sugar, he sits on an ox, and this ox is with the tiger year this year is also in harmony. And that tiger, the wood, is actually his power, okay? And the power above it, there's water as well, which I'll get to. So again, we're going to see him huge. Remember what a tiger is. A tiger is fierce. If you think of if you think of Korea, Career represents the tiger, or the tiger represents career, I should say. Invincible, powerful, strength, um, brave, and as these boys always say, fighting like that. Okay. Then we've got RM here, and he sits on an ox, and the tiger this year again is powerful. So for him, that tiger is not his power, but the tiger is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. It's a travel star, so it's coming from somewhere else for him. For Bang, the tiger is his expression, his talents, his skills. Again, he can sell ice to the Eskimos, just like Jimin can. The thing here is also is that the tiger is whatever he decides to do this year, it's so powerful that it'll just take over, that type of thing. So he actually has stepped down as CEO of Big Hit, but he's the head. Okay. Anyway, board member. The wood here for J-Ho, he sits on the pig. The tiger and the pig are soulmates and makes more wood. So more wood for him is more social. He's very social this year, which means we could see him in your face type of thing. He's probably doing more lives, talking more, showing us more, whatever it is. He's dancing, he's cooking, etc., etc. For the goat is part of the cycle, but what happens here is the tiger doesn't really clash, challenge, or anything like that. He's fine. So, but he already sits on his money. Ching, 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 ching. Yeah, it's a storage. And then Jin sits on a tiger. So he has competitors this year, but he's going to be fine because there's water above. So the water above, for all these woods, water supports them. Okay, so they have new, fresh ideas this year. For Bang, it's people like him, so the board. So he collaborates with people like himself as water, and it sits on the tiger, so that means fierce. They're like a tsunami. They come in. This is what we're doing. Let's go. Next, next, next. Like Ariana Grande's song. Next, next. All right, so the water for John Cook, it does put out this fire, but keep in mind that the tiger, that water is above with this horse, makes more wood, so it makes more fire, so it keeps him going. These guys will keep him going, even though he'll feel the pressure. The yang water on top with the yin fire, which is what Jimin is a soulmate. And this soulmate means, it doesn't mean life partners, so don't get that wrong. Soulmates are not always life partners. It's something that you're going to learn and then they move on. So he will have a lot of people coming in. You can call it collaborating, and it is brilliant. Okay. The water for Sugar, it's on top. We're going to see how much money he is making because of how much we're going to see of him. It's just ting, 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 ting. If you need someone to help you count it, call me. With RM, the water on top is anything that comes out of his mouth, and the wood on the bottom is his money. So whatever comes out of his mouth is going to make ching, 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 ching. But his is hidden, okay? So he may be collaborating behind closed doors, not right in front of us on the screen like Sugar, Jimin, and these guys could be, okay? So that kind of thing. And he is more behind the doors type of a person as well, behind closed doors. Like the show doesn't go on without this person because he's the one behind the screen making sure it can go on, okay? So I hope that helps you understand when, people come together, etc. These guys also had like 4 songs, one topped the other. And so they had 4 songs, number ones, one after the other. And nobody's ever done that. Or there's a few that have done that. The Beatles did that. The Bee Gees did that. And somebody else I can't even remember anymore. But yeah, and they also sing their songs in Japanese. So there was something about, I had a point here somewhere. Yeah, in Japan, BTS is the first male foreign artist to receive a million certification for a single. And it's just as big in the UK and the US as well. So they dropped albums back to back. Even in isolation in 2021, they kept doing their songs with different, locations and everything like that. So people could still, their army could still watch. They spoke more, that kind of thing. And they've had, that 4 number ones in less than 2 years, basically. So 7 million uh, fans. They call them fandoms. So 7 million of them. And they're doing it in another language. So keep that in mind as well. All right. They're also the youngest to receive Order of Cultural Merits for spreading Korean culture and language worldwide. So people actually go and eat in places where they ate as well. They also donate, Black Lives Matter, they donated 1 million, and their fans, the 7, donated the same amount as well. So they have a positive influence, not a negative influence in that way. And if these 3 woods and these 2 were not disciplined, like, they trained for a few years, etc., before they debuted, they handed out their own flyers for their own debut, begging people to come and watch them. So it is like a rags to riches story, if you want to look at it that way. The earth, the most caring of all these elements, it was like 88,000 he donated, US that is, to stop corona in his hometown. He donated beef to, like, I don't know how many tons of beef to 39 orphanages. And another 88,000, must be the 88 thing, also US, to Korean child cancer organizations. So that's how caring this one is. He doesn't look that way, I can tell you now. He looks like he can't be bothered with you, rack off. But yeah, all right. So they're not splitting up. There is a thing about they've all got to do their 2 years army, but I don't know what's going on with that. I'll have to ask the girls, which I have to mention. Thank you so much to all the girls that are part of army, who actually will most likely be going to Korea and be part of a K-pop band, because they're so good and they've won comps and things like that. So that's how, I can't tell them how it's going to be with the others, but I can tell them that they're going to shine. So go ahead and we will see them one day on the screen. But this is like a collaboration of 7 people or 8 people. He's the 8th member, but this is how beautiful it is. And all these wood, there's excessive wood, yes, but that's all creativity and kindness. That's right. All right. So there's no problem having that. All right. And there's no rock band, no band that has 70 million fans around the world. All right. I hope you enjoy that, and it allows you to see how it's not about, you've got money to start a business. When you start the business, how you start the business, etc., which I'll go into more when I talk about the 3 that built this. Not just him, he was the first, but the 3 that built this. All right. Thank you.